I sat down with Ben Franzi from Australia Post to find out how you can start selling your products online in Japan.
Once you're on Rakuten, you're actually only competing with other Rakuten merchants. And we do know Japanese consumers are very loyal to Rakuten. At the same time, they also tend to spend more money on Rakuten. So they have a higher transaction rate and a higher transaction fee. But there are a couple of disadvantages of selling on Rakuten. Shipping cost is one. So if you're an Australian merchant trying to sell into Japan on Rakuten, you are competing with local domestic players in Japan. So shipping costs can add to the overall cost of your product. The second is cultural differences. You need to understand the Japanese market, and it is in Japanese. At Australia Post, we've seen our volumes to Japan grow by about 20% year on year. We also know that the Japanese market tends to buy local, but they are at the moment about 12% of the time, they tend to buy from overseas. So it is tipped to grow from an overseas cross-border perspective.
Vet Products Direct is an Australian e-tailer that's been selling vet products online around the world since the late 90s, with the assistance of Australia Post. It targets a niche market of Japanese pet owners seeking overseas products. It's chosen to stay away from Rakuten and sells through its own Japanese language online shop. I asked General Manager Mike Woodrow how Vet Products Direct got into the Japanese market.
The early response we had from Japan perhaps led us to believe that this was going to be a pot of gold. On closer investigation, what we found is it's a very independent market, quite a closed market. That's continued for us to be quite a profitable market, a very loyal market, but it feels like there is a ceiling there, or there's certainly some barriers to entry.
Is there cultural issues with packaging, with Japanese language, you think that might affect you?
Our observation would be that to be a player, a serious player in that market, would require a Japaneseification of Vet Products Direct, probably a local presence, a significant local partnership. And at the time, it has been our strategic position to not do that. So we could see that there was huge opportunity there. We could also see there was a fair bit of risk there. Perhaps Japan, like no other Asian market, we need to play on their terms, and their terms are quite strict.
And so is it online, vending machine, bricks or mortar? How do you go into Japan?
Our strategy has been to go cautiously and to use a very safe medium, which is the online space. And every time we've tried to step outside that, the risk has, it's been one that strategically we've chosen not to take, which doesn't mean that would be the same decision for anyone who looked at Japan.
How do you get your products over to Japan physically?
So we're very fortunate in that most of our products are small, so they're quite compact, reasonable value to them, and they're consumable. So if you're online, those are the three things you're really looking for. So most of what we send will go into a shoebox, and so it's either satchels, parcels, or very small boxes. And so Australia Post has always been our preferred conduit, both to Japan and all of our international markets.